I wanted to preface this video by saying that this channel, these videos that I make for you, everything that I do is my opinion. It's my experience. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you're taking what I say and what I decide and my choices personally, well, don't. There's no need. I'm just here to relay the information in the way that I see it to hopefully help you make the best decision that's right for you. What might be great for me and what works perfect for me might not work great for you, and that's totally fine. So again, I'm just here to share my experience. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear to make you feel good, and absolutely our needs are different, I guarantee it. So today is about going more in depth into helping you decide between the Sony A7C and the Sony A7 III. And there are some reasons why I might suggest one over the other. So the more I use this camera and both cameras, the more that I kind of get an idea about which one might be better for certain situations. So let's dive in and talk about a few of those things. It might not be a surprise that the A7 III is literally my favorite camera of all time. It's amazing, it's literally changed my life. So I cannot recommend it enough. And in fact, we're growing fast, but if for somehow I reach 100,000 subscribers by, let's say January 1st, 2021, I'm gonna give one of you my camera. My glorious baby, I'm gonna give it away. Why not? We're growing fast and we're getting more opportunities here, partnerships with the big companies. So hopefully by then I'll be able to afford maybe a new camera, maybe the A7 IV when it comes out. So hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt, but let's do it. Why not? Let's throw it out there. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm so thankful for the community that we've built here. And let's talk about these two cameras to help you decide here which one might be better for you. We've got the A7C, which is a compact version of the A7 III, if you didn't know. It has absolutely phenomenal autofocus. Like the active tracking, the eye autofocus is absolutely incredible, next level. It's actually kind of annoying when you're doing filming like this and for the channel, and I'm trying to film a product and I'm in the background and it's literally finding my eye through everything and focusing on my eye when I don't want it to. So it's that good. The autofocus is just incredible. And it's a compact camera, but there are some sacrifices. So again, I wanted to mention some of the good things about this camera and then maybe some of the not so good things so I can help you decide on which one you should maybe be considering right now. Now the A7 III right now is on sale for $300 off the MSRP, which is the literal cheapest that it's been since it came out, which is a phenomenal value. The A7C is actually more expensive. So there's that. I have a few videos and thoughts on the A7C now. I will link one up here for you to take a look at to cover a more broad range of things that we covered in a previous video in terms of photography and video. So if you are maybe a photographer, you can kind of see why I don't necessarily recommend it for straight up photography. It's mainly the build and the form factor. Right here in the front, it doesn't have a dial to control your aperture and shutter speed quickly, and that really bugs me. It also doesn't have a joystick for your autofocus points. You can use the touchscreen, of course, only for autofocus, not for menus, and it does lag a little bit. So that joystick for me is very just key and quick for moving around and whatnot. So above and beyond that, the only thing that I really don't like about this camera is the EVF here. The EVF and the LCD are its definite weak points. It's just awkward, it's in the corner, it's tiny, and I struggle with the EVF a lot. And that's just my personal opinion. It might be fine for you, or you might actually use the awesome new flip screen more than the EVF if you're just doing a lot of filming. And that's who I really recommend this for. It's a beginner to intermediate film camera, a creator, somebody that's diving into video who doesn't take a lot of photos, but is a very capable photography camera because it is the same sensor as the A7 III. So low light performance, all the photography aspects of the sensor are the exact same. But this is a video tailored camera. It does have the eye autofocus in video up to 4K 24 frames per second, but it also does struggle in video in some aspects. A lot of people were hoping that it would be 4K 60. Well, it's not. It's got the same shooting frame rates and whatnot as the A7 III, capped out at 4K 30. Which is okay, I guess, because a lot of people don't really need more than that, and you've got your 1080 up to 120 frames per second. But one of the things I want you to note that it does have horrible rolling shutter. It's really not improved, and that's one of the things that I would have really liked to see improved on this camera opposed to the A7 III. So that right there, being a film tailored camera, I really wish that the rolling shutter was just a little bit better. Another thing I wanted to mention is the electronic front curtain. You actually can't turn it off, which for photography, which we mentioned earlier, is going to be not so good when it comes to third-party flashes. So if you do rely on things like Godox flashes and whatnot, they're not going to work great with this camera. So another reason why I don't recommend it for photography. But getting back to video, it's still a capable video camera. The color science has been improved, and it's great to hold as a video camera. It's going to fit better on a gimbal than the A7 III, but like I said, there are just a few things missing from me. It also doesn't have any custom buttons, so you're going to have to go into your menu and whatnot, and you know, it just might be a little bit slower, that's all. Another thing we want as video shooters is decent image stabilization. And unfortunately, the image stabilization, the 5-axis in-body image stabilization of the A7C isn't quite as good as the A7 III. However, it does have gyro data available where you can bring your footage into Sony's Catalyst program and actually go ahead and use the gyro data to crop down and make your footage super stable. But again, I question that because it's a bit inconvenient for me. It's not my typical editing flow, and I like to just bring it into Premiere where I edit most of my stuff and just throw a warp stabilizer on there. So is it that huge of a feature? Probably not for me anyways, but again, prove me wrong. I do have a more in-depth video in the differences between gyro stabilization data from the A7 III versus just your warp stabilizer. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it up there for you as well. So for me, the compact size of this camera isn't that great. It's really not that much smaller. The tiny EVF in the corner opposed to just another inch and a half or something at the top. It really doesn't make it that compact, especially when you throw a lens of, you know, worth anything onto this camera. They do have a kit lens, which is a bit questionable. I don't really see somebody using that kit lens doing a lot of video work, which is what this camera is designed for. So it's kind of a head scratcher, that one. Other than that, in my other video, I didn't mention that the A7 III shutter is capped at 1/4000th of a second, where the A7 III goes up to 1/8000th of a second. So again, minor differences here or there. Some questionable things have been left out by Sony, but it all depends on what you're looking for. This camera at this point is actually more expensive than the A7 III, which I have a hard time with. Again, the A7 III is still one of the best hybrid cameras you can buy for the money here in this day and age, which is absolutely incredible. I recommend it completely and fully. And at the end of the day, between the A7C and the A7 III, which I'm filming on right now, I recommend the A7 III. If you're looking for a photography as well as video camera, you want the best of everything, you don't want to sacrifice a heck of a lot, buy the A7 III. I fully and completely recommend it. The A7C, although not a bad camera, is just a bit more specific for the users, and I'm kind of struggling to see who is going to buy it over the A7 III. If the flip screen, which is kind of cool thing and takes a bit of getting used to for me personally, but if the flip screen and the eye autofocus in video are really the only things that are the difference, is that actually worth paying more than the A7 III, which in my opinion is more versatile and capable? Well, that's going to be up to you to decide. So either way, guys, if you decide on either one of these cameras, drop it down in the comments. I want to know which way you went and why, and let me know your comments and your thoughts on all this stuff. If you're ready to pick one up, if you're ready to buy one of these cameras, I'll drop affiliate links down below, and I do appreciate it as it helps to support the channel. And let's leave it at that, my friends. As always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.